Hi everyone, Lukas from Gisbert, photography.com, and in this video I just wanted to give you a few information and a few tips on how to advertise your business when you are a wedding photographer. Now, I've been a wedding photographer for many years now, and I have personally made lots of mistakes, but I've also made a lot of good calls. And so I found a lot from obviously the industry on what is good and what wasn't good for me. So I'll share a few tips. Obviously, everyone knows about social networking these days, and it's becoming very, very popular. Everyone's on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Instagram. Every single person I know is on one of those social networks, and it's important to have a presence there because when you are a photographer, it's very visual and you have to be in the eyes of your potential clients or their friends or their families, so you can be recommended and you can be also looked at when you do good work, and you can, be kind of mentioned, or they can share your pictures. So it's important to be into it. And there is a lot of different few things you can do with Facebook and Google+, but I'm just going to focus on Facebook on that one, is that you can pay ads. And what you do is you go onto the page, you create an ad, and on the ad, as you scroll down, you can put a description, you can put a picture, you can also add different options, like if you wanted to target single people, married, engaged, no specified status, or maybe some kind of age group as well, which could be important, because what you do is when you advertise on Facebook, you don't want to really advertise onto everyone's profile. You just want to target the people you're interested in. And if you're a wedding photographer, but what you're going to want to do is people who are engaged and in couple, and you want to leave the singles out and the married out, because they're not going to be getting married anytime soon. The single people who are possibly in couple and have not updated their status is probably because they don't spend that much time on Facebook, and they're not maybe like other people who update everything. So it's important you just leave them out, because you'll be possibly wasting money if they click, or if they, depending on your advertising, if you decided to pay for the number of views. So that's one thing. Social network is definitely a way forward. Once you have the Facebook page, what you're going to want to do is kind of link it to or a Facebook page or a website. I personally use my website a lot, and the reason for that is because it is a way of increasing your Google ranking, which is called SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. Yeah, I'll write it down somewhere here. I can't even pronounce it. So this more people actually link to your website, more Google will actually rank you up. So that's quite important to bring people. And I know that Google value a lot Facebook link, and especially Google+, but that's something else. So it's important to kind of match. If you have a Facebook page and you want to get more likes, so the reason for having more likes is because you can then, when you post a picture on your Facebook page, well, hopefully everyone who likes your page will be able to see that picture. So that's increase kind of your numbers. So that's one way. Obviously, a website is definitely a very strong approach. It is your footprint on the internet. Facebook, it isn't. You have a little space in Facebook, like everyone else, everyone does it. A website is definitely something which is very, very important, far more important than a good Facebook page. And the reason for that is because you can really personalize it. It's not just a little text or a few pictures, because everyone uses the same format in Facebook. Your website is your website. And looking around, you have to find what's the work for you. I spent 2 or 3 years using a company in the UK which was awful and very expensive, and I just kind of blinked after 3 years thinking, that is rubbish, I need to find something better. and I found something better, please go and have a look at my website. I put the details down. And I'm very, very happy with it because it's very visual, very clean, and it's exactly what I was looking for, very elegant. And that kind of describe my work and the type of work I do. So that is definitely the thing. Social network, your website, an important internet presence is a must these days for any photography businesses. I know that lots of people are very good with wording and blogs and having good words out. It's good, but I believe as a photographer it's not as important as having good pictures. So you've got to focus on having beautiful pictures, really, really good pictures, pictures that other people can do. That's the only way you're going to survive in this business. Is really, you have to, making good pictures is not good enough now. You have to make exceptional pictures, and it's difficult, it's not easy, especially as a wedding photographer when you're constantly working under pressure. Your brain works 100 times faster during a wedding. You have to think quick, you have to think well, and you can't mess up. And that's why it's a well-paid job when you do it well. So that is the first part, obviously, of the advertising recommendation I would do. The second part will definitely be networking. That is so important to me. This really kind of pushed my business, and I've only realized in the last 12 months how important it was. I was the kind of people before who was doing everything online, behind my computer, advertising here on this website, on that website, local website, putting ads everywhere. And it's only probably about 12 months ago when I realized I've met someone from the wedding industry, and I kind of realized, hold on, I'm missing a lot of business here. And so what I started to do is meeting with florists, jewelry, venues, wedding dress shop, every single one that was linked to the wedding industry I was trying to meet. Makeup artist, hairdresser, I had to meet everyone, and I just pushed myself. And you have to work with people, because the photographer will not be the first one that's going to be approached when a bride and a groom decide to book their wedding. They're first going to go to the venue because they need a date for the venue, then the church. Dealing with priests, it's a bit, it can be a bit tricky. I've not done it. I know some people who do it. I find it, because the church is not so much commercial and people don't go to the church to buy something, it's more for the religion and the aspect of the church. I find it a bit, I've not done it, but if you want to go see a priest and try to work with a priest who is going to be booked so he can recommend you, go ahead. There is nothing wrong with it. I personally don't. But the venues, try to get in touch with general manager. Go there for a meal with your family. Ask who's the manager, speak to them, say I'm a photographer, look at my work. And this is important. You shouldn't push people. People who are going to want to work with you are people who appreciate your work. Now, the way I personally do it is let's say I go to a wedding dress shop and I speak to the lady. I say, okay, I am a wedding photographer. Always try to speak to the manager there. Always try to speak to the person who makes calls, who's in charge, who's meeting the client, and who's actually try to sell the dresses. And what I normally do is I kind of introduce myself, give them a card and ask them to look at my work. And if they like my work, ask them to come back. So we can meet up for a coffee, nice and relaxed, and just chat about the wedding industry in general. What you're trying to sell to other suppliers is yourself, because you have to bring across a personality which gonna go well with them, because they don't want to recommend someone which they don't like. They're gonna want to recommend someone who they like. Okay, the picture is definitely a very high fact on the recommendation from other suppliers, but you also have to have a personality which is not going to be, you can be an asshole, let's put it this way. If you come across arrogant, pushy, rude, disrespectful, you can have the best pictures in the world, you will not get anywhere in this industry. That is a fact. So be very respectful when you speak to the people. You are asking them to recommend you. Obviously, this is a two-way work, so you've got to explain them on the second meeting that will be recommending them as long as they recommend you. you know, and it's a pact, and you have to do this, and you have to do this with everyone. You know, go see any makeup artist. Makeup artists are rarely the kind of guys who have a shop. Most of the time you'll have the hairdresser, which will have a shop, obviously the dressmaker, the jewelry, everything. But the makeup artist, which is also very important, and they get booked quite early possibly, is the guys you want to get onto your side. And having a nice team of network, it's very important. And what a recommendation I can do is, once you start building that network, is create a shot. So what you do is you go out there and say, okay, I want to make a photo shoot. So you find a model, then you speak to the wedding dressmaker, say, can we have a dress? You know, obviously you then give credit to everyone who's involved, but then you get a dress from here. You get the hairdresser to come and do the hair. You get a makeup artist to come and do the makeup. Shoes, jewelry, the whole lot. Try to bring as many people as you can and create that team, okay? Once you create that team and you get those people together, you then create, well, a bunch of friends possibly, you know, or very good colleagues, because at the end of the day, you know, competing with any of them, and you all want work, and it's becoming a very, very important part of the business, where you're networking and you just all working together. Because if I know this wedding dressmaker very well and someone come to me for a wedding, I would say probably most of the time they will already have the dress. But if they don't, I will definitely not pass it on to them. Say, go speak to them, they're amazing, they do beautiful dress, great value for the money. And you know, and this is where it works. So yeah, social network, website, great, but don't spend all your time in there. It's just not worth it. You've got to get out there, you've got to speak to people, get on front of people and speak to them. And people will appreciate this. They will people like outgoing person who wants to help, because at the end of the day, you're also going to be recommending them. So it is a two-way street, and this is the way I work, and it works very well for me. So yeah, don't put all your eggs into one basket, you know, the social network. Kind of put things aside. You know, if you need to spend money on maybe on magazines and try to get published, you know, do it. But don't just focus on your computer, and get out there and meet people, because at the end of the day, you know, you're photographing people, you know, photographing a computer, and you have to get out there. So yeah, that is pretty much my biggest recommendation, because I know how people kind of start a website, go on Facebook, put a little ad here, and just wait for the phone to ring. Well, that is just not going to work. You're not working hard enough. I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. You have to get out there. You have to create a network. You have to meet people. You have to sell yourself out there, and just keep doing it. You know, there is no, if you've seen everyone, well, go back again. Go and speak to them. Go meet them for a coffee. Talk about the last wedding you did, you know. Speak about the next collection of dress, you know, how does it look like, you know. Bring a magazine, a wedding magazine, and say, oh, what do you think of that makeup, you know, that girl, you know, to the makeup artist. It's a very interesting and a very passionate industry we're working in, you know. People who make dress, they are passionate about what they do, and everyone I work with in that business has been so passionate about what they do. The florist is, you know, they make something, they make pieces, they really take this to heart. And I think that when you meet people who are like you, and who take this to really a passion, you know, you kind of, you want to help each other. And that's what I find. Obviously, you know, you have competition, and you've got to take this in consideration, and they've maybe been approached by other people. But I think that when you can put across your passion for the work and your dedication to it, this will go a long way. And yeah, I mean, this is the best recommendation I can give you. Put a little ad on Facebook, couple of pictures, but get out there and go speak to people, because that's what's going to sell. So sell yourself, get out there, and if you have any question, let me know. Cheers. See ya. Hope it helps.